Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. With me today, we have Max and Edward. Edward is back. All right. You can tell I'm on my way out of being sick. It's pretty great. My voice is almost back to normal, but not quite. So you still have to deal with that. Guys, we have a few things.
No sexy Gerry, just sicky Gerry.
Yeah, it's even worse than my normal voice, which is not good in the first place. Let's begin with the AGM. I didn't go. You know, I had to. You know, I didn't have a sitter, so couldn't go to this year. You guys, I'm assuming neither of you went either.
No, I didn't get a match reaction out, unfortunately.
Talking point one. Bramley-Moore Stadium will be 2/3 paid by Liverpool City Council. Essentially, it's not actually that they're going to pay for it. We'll be paying them off. It's sort of like a loan kind of situation in installments year after year. But apparently some people are having trouble understanding this, right? Max has been waiting patiently to rip into this subject. So let's let him kick this off, all right? Max, what do you got, man?
Well, as you pointed out there before, like, give them a little look at the backboard there. Let's have a little look at what it says. Right, so obsessed. And this, for those who don't know, is in reference to some of the Reds who think Joe Anderson's choice to 2/3 help us fund this stadium is a bad deal for the city. It's really not. Everton, particularly Everton in the community, there kind of got its own segment at the AGM. Which has recently been given the freedom of the city. Everton is like an institution within the city. It helps people out. You know, it's a very family club, and it stays true to being the people's club. I was listening to the story that they were telling about how they first started to build the free school, just off County Road, Barrow Lane, and he said that they found a building with 2 homeless people in there. You know, and just a simple story like that shows how Everton, it indicates how we're aiming to better the community. So, just on that note, it's not a bad deal for the city at all, because Everton are helping the city out financially as well, because the stadium's going to generate a lot of tourist attractions, as football just does pretty much anywhere in the world these days, and it's going to make jobs, obviously. So this is benefiting the city council first, and then Everton.
Edward.
I mean, I personally think it's going to just benefit all parties. I think the way I thought about it at first was that Liverpool Council sort of like developing the area, and we were going to develop the ground, but I hadn't realised, how much of it we're actually getting. I think it's going to be great, because I think the way Liverpool Council are sort of seeing it, they're sort of seeing it as a bit of tourism, aren't they? To bring in money that way, because if you think about it, that's another extra port. That's where boats can come in. They're going to see a big, massive, brand new stadium. They're going to see all this being introduced to them, and they're going to, I think as well, it's helping bring Everton back into the city and make them a bigger club as well, because it's going to bring in more supporters, and it's going to bring, a lot of more association to the city itself, which will be quite nice to see.
There is a tweet out there, I hope, for those of you who are on the Twitter, and I do not remember who actually tweeted this, but it was a brilliant analogy that somebody put out there, all right? I promise you can find it, and I'm not taking credit for this. This is somebody else. I hope you find them and credit them. It's a great tweet. But he said, if Apple were to say, hey, we want to put a big building on the docks, all right? And basically, Liverpool City Council is going to help make that happen, but it's going to bring 10,000 jobs, all right? And if Apple's going to gradually be paying them back, what would be the downside? Okay? And I'm paraphrasing. They wrote it a lot better than I did, okay? I wrote a lot better than I just said. But the reason, I don't think anybody would really disagree with that.
No.
And the reason so many people are against it is because of the association with Everton. It's Everton getting something positive.
Yeah, and it's just kind of the the rose-tinted spectacles you put on from being a football supporter, really. As Joe Anderson said, and I think he was very emphatic, like, he meant it when he said if it was Liverpool, he'd do the exact same thing. Mm. You know, it's a family association to most of the people in the city. I couldn't really tell you someone who hasn't got a football association in the city, just so really support, you know. So it's a big move, because
bringing everyone sort of together, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, as you say, we're buying out the Liver buildings. We're going to be working off the 7th floor of the Liver building, all the Goodison staff, and we're going to have that place on the docks. So, city's all ours. Definitely, it's a nice little thing.
It's blue this time.
So, all right. Honestly, I don't even know where else to go on that subject. I feel like we thoroughly covered that. Next, Dan Mice. There's a video at AGM about him discussing Bramley-Moore. All right. Basically, he says, as usual, he's saying all the right things. Every time he talks about the new stadium or about Goodison, you can tell he gets it. All right. So it was cool to hear him saying the right things again. Still no pictures. I think a lot of people, the number one thing they were looking for out of this meeting was pictures of the new stadium.
Show it, don't say it, in a way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There were good indications, though, because, like you say, he was very... he gets it, and even he said in that video it's a career-defining project that he's working on. So, obviously, his heart's in it in that aspect. So, I think it's going to be aesthetically pleasing. And when I was listening to Robert Elston, one of the analogies that he consistently uses, he wants to keep our home ground of the fortress. So I think...
So he's going to put little castle walls around the outside of the ground.
You know what I mean? It's keeping true to the fact. It's keeping the fans close to the pitch. Yeah. So I don't think we're going to be worried about any running tracks. Particularly, I don't think the City got the Commonwealth Games now. So... Yeah. That's a good sign. We're avoiding the West Ham era early before constructions even began. So it's good that we're getting that out the way. And I think they've had nothing but good signs when it comes to what the ground's going to look like.
Feels weird being positive, doesn't it?
Well, I mean...
It's always cautious optimism, though. You always walk into it and you're like, well, hold on, something could happen. You know? Kinrad even said... specifically mentioned West Ham about going to their newer stadium and saying it wasn't really all that great. Not a great experience. I'm paraphrasing, but trying to make it not sound mean.
As long as we build it as an actual football stadium and for nothing else, then it will be. Because I think Spurs are meant to be building. Spurs, I think, is sort of building it a bit like a mall or something on the side, like a superstore or something on the side, which just doesn't feel right. It's got to be built.
They're talking about having NFL games there too.
Exactly. You just got to build it for football. That's what it's for.
I will say, I just saw a pic online. It showed them building this huge, steep stand on one of the ends, and it looked kind of neat. It looked nice. They're clearly not completely losing the plot. They're doing a lot of crazy stuff as far as their retractable pitch and everything. There's all kinds of... You'd have to look at the science behind it. It's crazy.
I don't see the point in it, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think they're worried about bringing the NFL to our new stadium right now. So I don't think it's something you have to worry about at the moment.
They're meant to be getting a lot
specifically.
They're meant to be getting a lot more sponsorship, aren't they, for the stadium as well?
Yeah, I mean, name and rights is obviously going to be a big part of that. We've seen with Finch Farm and USM. I mean, a lot of good sponsors have been coming in anyway. I mean, we all slated Angry Birds for the state that looks, but it's a healthy relationship and sponsorship to have. With a company like that, and I'm sure we'll get some more.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Angry Birds as the main shirt sponsor, because the way they've treated us. I mean, have you seen for every single new signing they bring in, Angry Birds are always straight on it saying welcome, blah blah blah, and it's really nice to see. And that is the kind of thing you want from a sponsor.
It pushes the reach out more, which I think. I mean, I know we hate really referring to our clubs as brands, but it pushes the Everton brand out there, which is only good.
Yeah, and it is. We are talking about a logo and a brand that has big time recognition, especially around the younger folk, which I'm assuming is just anyone younger than me. So yeah.
Sponsorship wise as well, they've just had a Gatorade have become like the official drinks company.
Just announced that today. That's right. Very cool.
Pretty decent.
Because I drank the hell out of some Gatorade. We love
Is it
Gatorade.
more American?
Gatorade.
Is it a more American one?
Huh?
Gatorade, is it more of an American one? Because I think we've really got Lucasade here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Gatorade is huge in America.
American company, isn't it?
It is literally the biggest sports drink company in America. It's huge.
Maybe that's a tactical plan.
I mean, Michael Jordan was one of their spokespeople back in the day. Okay, that's doing pretty well. All right, we got to move on to Moshiri. Moshiri was a talkative fellow at the AGM. He had a lot to say.
Which is nice.
Some might say to his detriment. Not sure. He did specifically say that he wasted 2 summers trying to talk Lukaku into staying, and that Lukaku was in a meeting, like pretty much ready to sign and everything, and he called his mom. And then what follows after the phone call to the mom is a gray area, because if you read this specific quote, Moshiri says that he had gone to Africa on a pilgrimage and he had talked to a voodoo who said he should go to Chelsea. Okay? I was always under the impression when I heard people recounting the story that Moshiri was talking about Lukaku's mom is the one who had gone on the pilgrimage and spoke to. And so basically, regardless, it doesn't matter. The whole thing is so weird. And apparently Lukaku, because of his staunch Roman Catholic beliefs, is considering legal action against Moshiri for the voodoo comment. He's sad and angry about it. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing Moshiri would just make up for no reason. Right?
Lukaku's still fussing over about leaving even when he's already left.
No, I just think that for a businessman of that stature to be coming out of such a, like, even if he has just made it, you know, it just shows how absurd the whole process of offloading Lukaku was, and to the response of Lukaku to be, what were the 2 words that he used? Sad and angry.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure Moshiri's been sad and angry plenty of times when Lukaku's been away on international duty, mouthing off to the media how he wants to move. So I think that's quite a contradictory action from Lukaku to go back on having a go at someone to ultimately saying something that's going to get leaked out in the media. You know, for someone that cries to the media quite a lot, you know, it's strange. But so's Lukaku, as it seems.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, if Moshiri just made that up, I think Lukaku has a definite reason to complain. I just think it's a ridiculous thing to make up. You know what I mean? It's
too so ridiculous not to be true in a sense as well, isn't it?
I mean, there's always the possibility that he did make it up. We always acknowledge these possibilities. But common sense tells me
we're unbiased. We're unbiased to an extent.
But so yeah, that whole thing is weird. And then I'm not sure if it was Moshiri or Kenride. It may have been Kenride who talked about this. Apparently, during the whole Barkley contract saga, Barkley's agent would just go missing when they were wanting to talk to him about contract. They were wanting to try to figure it all out. His agent was just gone and unreachable. And that sort of sounds par for the course. You know what I mean? In terms of what we've sort of learned about supposedly what Barkley's agent is all about. £7 million agent's fee on the transfer, on a £15 million transfer.
Yeah, and
Didn't we have to pay that as well? Or was that Chelsea?
I'm
Chelsea
not
pays
sure.
that.
I'm not sure. I doubt it. Obviously, with Ross being an academy product, I'm not sure if we had anything thrown out to the agent. But as you say, and as I said there, I think the Lukaku and the Barkley exits, they're just really peculiar transfer stories. You know, I mean, I know we've speculated on them plenty of times. I mean, as fans, they're just strange transfers, and to be honest, I'm glad to just get them out the door.
Did you hear the other story? I forgot it in my notes, but apparently Barkley's agent at one point, I think he was Stones' agent, and part of the deal to get Barkley to stay was for them to let Stones go to Chelsea.
What?
Are you kidding me? No, they talked about that at AGM. That was a thing. That you can find that if you look around. And that's another thing. I mean, they said a lot in this meeting, people.
It just shows agent power in football this day and age. You know, we were talking about George Mendes, who's another famous football agent. There, they have an extraordinary amount of power. And
well, I mean, no, Raul is. I know when Pogba first came to United, I think Raul got about, I want to say 39 million, something like that, in an agent fee from the transfer, which is an absolute disgrace. I wonder what he actually got for Lukaku to get him to United.
I'm not sure on any figures like that, but yeah, it is.
I knew it was big money. That's all I knew. So yeah, just to be clear, we are literally rehashing things that happened at the meeting. These are not our personal views. Stuff just seems super weird. All right, and a little shady. That's what it seems. All right. So next, Moshiri again. Apparently, he has decided that he's no longer going to use Jim White as his mouthpiece to announce news and to announce make club announcements and whatnot. It's weird the way Moshiri was discussing this. It came across as though he would talk to Jim White on the phone and not realize that what he was saying to Jim White was either going to go on the air directly, like he was being recorded, or that what he said was immediately going to go onto Twitter and immediately onto Sky News. It's like he didn't know.
Yeah.
Which is, again, strange. And we're not sure if this is Moshiri saving face, however that works, or if it's him just genuinely, like when you said, Max, kind of a rookie owner move, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if that is the case, though, so because, by other things that Moshiri said, particularly in that interview, he does seem to have a very positive outlook on how things will go over the next few years. So I'm sure if some of these business plans do come off, then I'm sure we can forgive him for this. But, we have talked about it before. It has seemed strange how much access Jim White kind of had for information about the club, and how even sometimes before the club themselves, he would announce it. I think that was probably the main thing that they come across as a huge communications error with the club. But yeah, I'm glad he's put an end to that, to be honest, because I think the club can kind of change how they communicate with the fans now.
You go ahead, Edward.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to have someone actually talking it, but it just shows, like you're saying, how misshaped some of the parts of the club are with the whole thing with communication. Because I mean, you don't learn any of this stuff unless it gets leaked first, which is a complete shame. I think are they still like? Were they ever like regarded as friends, or was it sort of like a working relationship so that Jim White could get information?
He kind of talks about like they're friends. That's kind of the way he alludes to him, and the way Jim alludes to Moshiri. It's as though they have some kind of relationship, friendship. But yeah, it was just weird. And my guess is he was doing it knowingly, but has been criticized a lot for there being crap communication coming out of the club, and they're trying to work on it, and so he's trying to save a little face. That's what common sense tells me.
That would surprise me, because that makes sense. That makes clear sense. So Yeah.
So, yeah, because that's a big criticism that Everton have to face, which is we need to work on communications coming out of the club.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Has Jim White said anything in reaction to that, or is he?
I haven't heard anything. That's what I'll
No,
say.
I haven't seen anything.
So, all right, last thing. There are many other things that came out of AGM, but we can't record for an hour. So I just took specific points, specific talking points, and this is a very simple. This is just good news. Seamus Coleman back in training. We don't need to talk about that for 15 minutes, but it's awesome. Yeah, there's that.
No, it is fantastic. Something that I want to mention there as well, especially with the mention of Seamus Coleman. I mean, we all talk about how much we got him for. Robert Elson, I think, mentioned during the AGM the amount of young players that we've acquired for little or no money. I think Evertonians need to look at that as well, especially if they start getting frustrated about results and that. You know, we've got young players there, and we've got Seamus especially coming back, who I think we all know is being missed. I mean, I know John Joe Kenny has put in some fantastic performances, but the leadership and he embodies Everton. Seamus Coleman, I think no fan would deny him of that. So it's great to have such a big man.
I think with Coleman, I think you can't even say his name without having a little smile on your face, just because of what he's done for the club. And it's incredible.
Definitely.
Yeah, it'll be interesting once he comes back. The good news is with Kenny playing as well as he is, we can slowly bring him back. It doesn't have to force him back in before he's ready. We can gradually bring him back. You know,
it's not like we're playing a left back at right back. Why would you ever want to do that?
Yeah, who would do that?
You know.
Please buy a left back, Everton. Okay, so I guess that's it for our AGM reaction. If you're digging the videos, please subscribe. We are nearing 400. Alert the media. It's kind of cool. All right? So
a bit high now.
Like, comment, all that hot stuff. Check out Max's articles and work on the Toffee Blues website. Check out Edward's YouTube channel Jam E James. Details are down below. That's it. We got more videos to make. Bye.
Adios.